Hi, this is your boy Terry. My username across the internet is Surpassing Google, and welcome here. In this video, I'm going to be summarizing what a Ulog is. I'll build on some of its history and story, discuss the context surrounding what a Ulog is and some of the paradigms guarding the concept of Ulogging. So let's start by, saying let's start by defining what a Ulog is. Basically, a Ulog is a form of content spanning across any niche or industry that is created fresh at every instance, made up entirely of excerpts of you, without resourcing from the internet. Meaning that a Ulog created today in its entirety must not have existed anywhere online yesterday. Same applies to a Ulog created tomorrow or per instance. Now what this means is that while a Ulog allows any form of media, be it text or image, graphics, video, it should be created fresh at every instance entirely by you without resourcing any aspect of it from the internet. So, for example, if you're to create a meme, we may call that a Ulog meme. Such a meme, first for you to create such a meme, you will have had to create the graphics that constitutes the meme as well as the text sentiment afresh. Now, a Ulog has paradigms that enable you to be entirely you, regardless of your flaws. So we call that an undistalented paradigm, meaning that even if you did not know Photoshop, you're allowed to create a Ulog meme using Paint. Whether it's a mediocre looking meme or graphic, or you may undertake the path of learning Photoshop just to create the graphic constituting that meme and record your evolution. Altogether, a Ulog incites you to consciously mine of your human. So that's it. The dynamic behind the concept of Ulogging is to put the art of content creation and content curation to more testimonial use as an avenue to mine or evolve your human. So basically that's it. Now we are familiar with concepts like blogs or vlogs. This form of content fills the internet. Now, while you can blog and vlog, you can also Ulog. Where you take up the art of Ulogging, you are a Ulogger. I'm hoping that this concept of Ulogging becomes renowned across the entire globe, integrated into every dictionary, becomes a part of every existing social media platform or outlet. Because a Ulog is powerful. As simple looking as it looks, it is very powerful. By means of Ulogging, we're able to fill the internet dynamically with excerpts of you. You take ownership of the mine. By the mine, I refer to you. You're able to dig of your mine while creating content. Ulogging allows the removal of barriers from the art of content creation as well as content curation, as well as content promotion. How so? Not everyone is a blogger. Not everyone considers themselves as fit as bloggers either. There are some barriers to entry there. Bloggers are more considered experts. To create a vlog, you need a fancy camera, the perfect pouted lips. A Ulog allows you to be entirely an evolving version of you, with flaws allowed. These things are celebrated as long as you are in a state of evolution. The power of a Ulog, it enables you tap into your shine. and emits and reveals his shine, filling the internet with fresh pieces of human per day. Now, I was saying earlier that the art of Ulogging removes all barriers from content creation, content curation, and content promotion. Opening these arts to anyone. How so? When it comes to content creation, like I said earlier, not everyone considers themselves fit to be a blogger. However, anyone can be a Ulogger. Regardless of the state of their Ulog, as long as they're in a state of evolution, it's welcomed. We want to be able to acknowledge and celebrate attempts out of the boxness via the art of content creation. We want to we want to encourage people to relegate any fears when it comes to content creation. We want Uloggers to become the referenced. It's possible because you are creating content that's dynamic, is non-existent on the entire internet, and you are doing this dynamically, incessantly. There becomes the possibility of you becoming the referenced. As much as we want to reference a Warren Buffett or a Mark Zuckerberg, you as well can become the referenced. Now, content curation. When it comes to content, there are barriers to entry when you're curating content and you are not literate on a particular subject or expert. For example, programming. Programming is usually, maybe when you see a publication containing programming, it's usually codes. And if you don't know anything about programming, it becomes difficult to read such a publication, let alone curate it to more visibility. Now, by adding a Ulogging element or dynamic, we remove these barriers because a publication that is about programming, but a Ulog about programming, carries a human element. You're allowed to record even your flaws, your ordeal over the course of your programming escapade. You're allowed to document the occurrences in your day throughout the course of your programming, adding a human element to a once complex topic. So by adding the dynamic, allowing people to be able to Ulog even about programs or about chemistry, we remove that barrier. To touch on that further, because people are now capable of relegating reservations, new programming styles can be evolved or innovated, same as chemistry. You're allowed to explore beyond what is the standard. And when you enter the culture of Ulogging per day, you return value to yourself, to human. You exert of your human virtues, your human senses in new ways, using content creation and content curation without reservation. This way you're able to explore newer aspects of yourself dynamically, almost per day. Recount where you are in your evolution, courtesy of your content creation, and that adds more testimonial use or essence to the art of content curation and content creation. Now, how about promotion? Same thing. It's very easy to tell someone, oh, come to my social media platform to Ulog. The moment you show them Ulogs, even about programming, even about chemistry, you resuscitate their confidence in their capabilities when it comes to curating or thriving in this environment, because suddenly this once complex content carry a human element. Yes, that's another thing that Ulogging does. When we now have content, very content containing very complex knowledge, but with a human element, people can be onboarded, basically, because they now feel that they have a chance. Of course, they're allowed to, exert of their minds and envision and create new chemicals, new programming style, things that are not in existence, with all freedom, and this way more knowledge will be revealed. There's so much knowledge innate to human that is untapped. Most of the books have been written. How about the no books? There's so much knowledge innate to you that needs to be tapped and revealed, tangible for the collective human evolution. But these things are never tapped because many do not have freedom, freedom to do so because of the standards that are in place. Now, we're not bashing the standards, we're just complementing what exists. So these are some of the powerful paradigms surrounding the evolution of the concept of Ulogging. Words still rule the world. Let there be light, and there was light. Looking at the internet, of course it's filled with blogs and vlogs. How about we complement the internet with the existence of Ulogs? This way, the internet can become dynamic instead of recycled. For the most part, the internet has stayed static. The information there has been a recycle of what has garnered popularity over time. For the most part, the search engine's algorithms to measure relevance considers what is popular, what is socially popular, and this way, even I think it's very powerful that we can serve the search engines with Ulog, fill it dynamically with fresh pieces of humans per day. And I feel that more knowledge will be revealed, and where knowledge is made whole, a mix of the books and the no books, a mix of outer space knowledge and down-to-earth knowledge. Human knowledge can be decentralized, put in the hands of anyone, regardless of their levels of literacy, social status, just courtesy of the fact that they're human, and everyone has a chance to evolve, courtesy of knowledge that is whole, courtesy of knowledge that is balanced. So a Ulog does have a surpassing Google paradigm involving the search engines. There's so much to discuss about the concept of Ulogging, but I want to keep this short. One may want to ask, what is the difference between a Ulog and original content? Well, these other dynamics I mentioned is where the difference lies, basically. Starting from the name, the evolution of the name Ulog, we've had mainstreamity in mind, a name that is easy to pronounce, that people can resonate with, courtesy of the fact that they're familiar with the concept of vlog or blog. If you check the search engines already, if you type the word Ulogs, Ulogs, the plural of it, you'll find Ulogs already on the first page of Google. So a lot of thought went into the name, the simplicity of it as well, where the U in Ulog stands for you, but an evolving version of you. We want to use content creation as an avenue to mine the human, and in the long run create a reward model around this. It's already in motion. The home for Ulogs originally is ulogs.org. It also has a digital currency which is in the making. So that is, yes, where it's different from original content is just the dynamics of attaining a culture of consciously mining the human. Uloggers know that they are about to mine of their human, courtesy of Ulogging. besides that, of course, original content, as seen on many platforms, can paraphrase content that exists. In some cases, can reference or use images that exist online. However, a Ulog has, one paradigm guarding the Ulog is gifting to the internet fresh pieces of human incessantly. So every aspect of a Ulog is created fresh at every instance and without resourcing from the internet. So going back to the example I mentioned earlier, if you wanted to create a meme, you will not need to research the image for the meme from the internet and then put your own text inscription on it, regardless of whether it's a caricature, unprofessional, or you will need to create the image by yourself or learn a new skill so as to create the image. Of course, in your Ulog you can even record or document your ordeals, during the process of having to learn, how your computer crashed and you had to fire on and go to an internet shop to continue studying that module of Photoshop, to eventually create an image for your meme. Everything is just created fresh at every instance and without resourcing any aspect of the content from the internet. So that's where Ulog comes in. Of course, people can also identify as Uloggers more easily than perhaps original contenters. So there's also a mainstreamity factor there. So a lot was put into the consideration of this, looking at the state of the world, looking at blockchain technology. We wanted to put blockchain technology to more testimonial essence, even in terms of the innovation that it emanates. It's possible to, so we had to brainstorm, a very simple yet new type of innovation, born out of blockchain. This will help bring blockchain further to mainstreamity, where Ulog becomes popular across the globe on every keypad in the dictionary. Then it becomes known one indispensable use case for blockchain technology. Besides that, we just want to remove barriers to entry. Like on the Steam blockchain, there was a time when people are wary about getting down votes, and because of the form of content they create. Some people aren't entirely, are mostly novice to blogging, and sometimes they experiment and they turn out spam-like. So I was looking at all those things, and even though the blockchain on the Steam blockchain offers a tool, that brings about easy comfort, you can just downvote content, I decided to go into isolation to evolve of myself further, exercise human virtues in the face of a downvote. Do I want to so I just thought of people and how can we fix this. Of course the downvote button is one method, but perhaps this is an avenue to find more testimonial use for my evolution. So I went into the background and thought of a possible solution. So first I started a tag called Undistalented. I started the very first contest that I did for that, had 1,000 comments on the post, and in the contest I told people to write entire publication, not just the comments, like entire publications, and it had more than 1,000 entries. People that had reservations when it comes to creating content they came around, and many people had started to entertain freedom. So as I started that contest, I was trying to draw unadulterated feedback from the community to further evolve the Ulog concept. So that's how the undistalented paradigm formed, became one of the paradigms guarding Ulogs. So basically, undistalented is on, then you put a bracket, DIS talented. So I'm just trying to highlight that, even though world standards of talent exist, it's possible to celebrate so-called untalent, where someone is told, no, you sing off key and continue singing. Perhaps there's talent there, their persistence, their desire to continue evolving, desire to hone their expertise, perhaps there's talent there. So this formed one of the dynamics for a Ulog. Everyone can relate. Everyone in reality is a Ulogger. They have always been. There's no one that hasn't Ulogged. It's just that most of these Ulogs have not been documented. So much of the ordeals that occur in our day-to-day life aren't documented because, we start to have that fear that, if we reveal these things, they may be bashed as nonsense, stuff like that. And so there's so much knowledge that is undocumented in the down-to-earth spaces of Mama Earth, and Ulogging will stare about the documentation of these very powerful, even rare intel. So that's where Ulog came about. When Ulog started, although because of health constraints have been very slow, but when it started, after the first 4 months, it did stare content. People had curiosity. Every time they see, the growth was organic. When they see someone, titling their post Ulog, people, first of all, they wonder if what a Ulog is. That's what stares everything. But some will want to, some people will end up thinking that maybe this is an error. Maybe the person intended to say vlog or blog, and then we'll try to contact the person saying that, oh yeah, you have a typo. Then that will steer for a conversation that it's actually not a typo. This was considered also in the derivation of the name Ulog. We wanted to get every error in the search engines. Error, there's possibility that someone, intending to use the search query blog or vlog ends up typing Ulog. We no longer want Google to suggest, did you mean vlog or did you mean blog? Because there's Ulogs. Eventually, there will be Ulog for every niche and industry. Of course, even of the complex knowledge, it will carry a human element. It will carry a very human element, one that's has ordeals and struggles and flaws, and in the long run, I'm hoping that every website on earth has a space called My Ulogs. It's very powerful, even especially with blockchain. Ulog has a human element. Most times online, we meet with strangers, but how do you gain insight into their identity, their substance? Through a blog or a vlog? Not entirely. You can, however, with a Ulog, because blogs and vlogs have certain standards. A blogger has, for the most part, tries to be perfect mostly. A vlog, you need a fancy camera, and you consider these things, the edits and all that. Now, of course, you can do all this in a Ulog, but with more freedom. So many things were taken into consideration. It's a very spiritual concept. I don't want to go into that, but I underwent a lot to be able to bring this about. I have three innovations altogether: removing barriers to entry from various human activities. Content is very powerful, so we tackle that. The other is dream building. So we have a concept called another website that removes barriers from there. Then we have macro hard that removes barriers to entry from the world of programming. Bringing this world to anyone. So I don't know if I explained this very well. I'm disoriented, really. That is usually the case. I'm better when it comes to writing, but because of health restraints, I'm resorting to making videos. However, I wrote a summary or a definition of what a Ulog is. So a Ulog can also be used in terms of a web space or containing Ulogs. So you can say, oh, visit my Ulog. And yeah, so I was saying earlier that after the first 4 months, there were like 50,000 Ulogs and 179,000 comments. And this is even without rewards. On the Steam blockchain, the primary reward for a Ulog is human evolution. And Uloggers imbibe that culture. Some Uloggers Ulog at the end of the day just to recount where they've reached in terms of their evolution on that particular day. So they're okay with being their primary audience, like their primary audience before, whilst other things like rewards and the audience out there is secondary. And a Ulog gives you power in terms of staying present in people's minds, because it showcases you're human in its state of evolution. It also attracts exact like minds to you. Now, we're not saying like minds, we're saying exact like minds, because anyone who sees you in your state of evolution through your Ulog, even where you mention your ordeals and hassle, and they still connect with you, reach out to you, those are exact like minds, because in your Ulog it contains of your spirit, your being, the same things that your value, the same things that Google and Facebook do, and they're able to become so mainstream, influence the world. What do they do exactly? They mostly create features to bring about comfort, for humans, but in the process, they collect data that contains your very elements, because when you're browsing in comforts of your home, you're not so conscious of your environment, so you emanate or emit this information. They take it, they love it, they process it, refine it, and then they're able to know you even more than you know yourself. This way they can influence you, hold you accountable, and gather a lot of revenue as well. So Ulogging enables you to take control of that mind, your mind. Same things that you emanate obliviously or subconsciously when you browse, you begin to value it, because now you're consciously recording it. And then you tap into your shine, your invincibility, your spirit. You start to become an owner, a creator, the referenced. And where you become an owner, many things become fixed. You begin to innovate, and all that. Very powerful, but simple as well. Very, very simple. You can simply tell someone, oh, come on, Ulog. The U in Ulog stands for you. So let's keep it short. Let's just about 30 minutes long. I intended for it to be very short, but there's no way of covering the context surrounding it. But a lot went into it, including, bringing blockchain technology to the mainstream. And I think Ulog is one such way Very simple but very powerful. The moment we have Uloggers across the world, Ulog is a blockchain innovation. I'm your boy Terry. Stay awesome. 30 minutes.